Legendary football coach Vince Lombardi once said that football is like life. It requires perseverance, self-denial, hard work, sacrifice, dedication, and a respect for authority. Football is a very unique sport because it requires unique individuals with specific sets of skills and body types. I'll be teaching you about one specific position, which is defensive end. But before I do, I'll give you an overview of how the positions in football are so unique compared to other sports. So, football has positions pretty much for every body type. Say you're a small guy, not very athletic, there's still a very good position that's very important on a football team, such as kicker. And not to say that all kickers are unathletic, but kickers have a very unique role in the game of football. It requires strategy and accuracy as well as much practice. But aside from the smaller positions such as kickers, there's the more important roles such as skill positions and lineman positions. Skill positions require more athletic ability, agility, and elusiveness. These certain positions are QB, quarterback, running back, and wide receiver. Those are considered skill positions. Lineman is a position that usually requires larger individuals that have more strength, good footwork, and a good field of vision to execute plays successfully. The positions that I've just told you about are all offensive, and that's only half of the positions in the sport. The other half of football is defensive. Defense requires very unique individuals that are quick off the ball and have reckless abandon to get to the ball in order to take the runner down before the play is over. Defensive players tend to be the most aggressive players on a football team. A defensive end, specifically on defense, has the job of containing the quarterback and stopping outside runs. They have to disrupt passes or stop them or rush a bad pass in a pass situation. In all football positions, there are certain areas that people have responsibility for, and these areas are called gaps. The four main gaps in football are A, B, C, and D. D is not referred to as often as A, B, and C, but it is still very important. The gaps are the areas between the players on the line, from the center outwards. So for instance, here you have your center, excuse me, your guard and your tackle on both sides. And between the center and the guard, you have your A gap. Between the guard and the tackle, you have your B gap. And outside of your tackle, you have your C gap. And now, the gap that the defensive end has responsibility for is this C gap right here outside of the tackle. And this gap does not change even if there is a tight end right here. The C gap is still between the tackle and the tight end. And that's where the defensive end is going to try to make most of his tackles, is right on the outside of the play, if it is a run in fact. But the defensive end isn't always a go-to guy to make a tackle. Sometimes he's used as a pawn. He can be used to sacrifice himself in order to open up a tackle opportunity for somebody else on the defense, such as a linebacker or a safety. So a scenario that could happen in is called a counter trap play for the offense. So what that would look like is having the defensive end out here. And on a counter trap play, what happens is the backside guard and tackle will pull. And the guard's job is to kick out the end in order to make space for the tackle to come through and block a backer down here. And that takes up two of the play side possible tacklers, and it allows for the running back to have a hole to run through. So, to prevent this play from happening, what we do at my high school is we do a wrong arm. And what that is when the guard pulls to kick out the end will meet his force head on and use his outside arm to come underneath and cause a traffic jam. That traffic jam disrupts the pulling tackle, and the tackle cannot get to the backer fast enough in order to get him blocked. And so what the end has essentially done is taken up two men, freeing up the backer to make the tackle on the outside. So that's just one scenario where a defensive end can sacrifice himself as a pawn in order for other players on the defense to make a tackle. Now, in a pass play, what an offensive line does is they drop back in order to create a pocket to protect the quarterback. And when they do this, all the end is trying to do is fight relentlessly until the play is over to try to disrupt the pass or sack the quarterback behind the line of scrimmage. And that's what a sack is a tackle behind the line of scrimmage. So that's pretty much the overview of what a defensive end's job is and what they're supposed to do in the schemes of a defense. Not all of them do the same things. At our high school, we do it differently than a lot of our opponents. But defensive end is a really fun position. It's my personal position. I love it. I love making tackles. It's always been my favorite to play defense. And I hope you guys learned a lot how to play defensive end. Hope you learned a little bit more about how football has unique positions for everybody. And thank you for your time.